scorching under the yellow sun. I don't know. Some people say the sun's blue now. I mean, well, you know what? Maybe the sun's blue, but the light is yellow. I mean, maybe the sun's kind of. What's going on here? All right. Anyway. All right. So we are moving into a new circumstance, a new situation, right? This is not the first time that there's been a threat that has been used in political theater, and I mean like a threat of a physical defense nature with some of these characters that on occasion happen to peoples, right? And these moments are a test of whether you actually think that the timeline of the world is dictated by an executive head. It's not. It's the consensus of institutions are what takes us forward, and then the rest is just kind of like details, right? And then you either blindly say nothing and do nothing about it, or you're like me and you have moved yourself into a different disposition and trajectory to not need to be considerate of it at all, because you begin to realize that the only thing that matters with what any of these people are saying or doing is the influence within those two forces. The institutions, maybe they shouldn't be, quote, institutions, but they need to be there does need to be something that exists for people, right? Something that is a materialization of unifying principles. And those unifying principles don't have to have anything to do with politics. It doesn't have to have anything to do with government. You might want it to have something to do with court, but because it has nothing to do with government, it also means that you have to take more concerted responsibility, because we have a circumstance where we do not want the evil of the state, the evil of our personal failings to get in the way, right? Because the easy argument against the anarchist is that you can't personally trust most people. And then the easy argument for or against the statist is that people whom you inherently can't trust are the most interested people in power. Love from India. All right. It's very kind of you to say. I hope that you behave in accordance as someone who loves, no matter where you're from. So, America has a course that it is interested in taking no matter what. Do be the fool that gets emotionally charged by this. Do not make this inspire you. Like, I would recommend that you don't vote. I recommend that you don't vote. Right? That's me. Right? I want you to challenge yourself by really working that out and say, like, how would I be able to function? Who would I be able to function with? Right? You're looking to give yourself an exercise.
Hi.
Hey there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're looking to give yourself an exercise in... Sorry about that. No, you don't understand. We don't know who or what Donald Trump or the Trump administration loves. We don't know anything about any of these people. They are all playing their part. As far as I know, the will and care of America loves India. And Donald Trump wants you to believe that he loves India the way that I love India. That's what these politicians are doing. Okay? That's all that they're doing, because that's the only thing that we will ever see that they are doing, are these postures. Meanwhile, the reality is that things don't happen without a whole infrastructure of agreement. And because you are so passive as being an influence in your world, you don't get to see anything come about in the world that is shaped in accordance with your will or how you care about these things. You really and truly need to come back into the present moment to both continue to work on your, not just healing, but then your empowering. And then taking that empowerment and making the big difference. Right? And you're making the big difference in accordance to what you've built. Don't work with the stage the world has given you, and build yourself to the next stage. But this stage, you have a certain performance to be expected for the audience. Understand? Because that's all that Donald Trump is doing. Is he's going with it because of X, Y, and Z factors of his life, and he wants to play this game. And we all like the idea, the attitude, as we think we understand what the hell he's talking about. But I guarantee you, we have no fucking idea. Because there's the benefit of the doubt because you've made a quote mistake. But then there's also your deliberate aversion to reason. And I have watched this man since the pandemic be wildly averted to reason about things that matter deeply. And people's cognitive dissonance can't handle the fact that there's a relationship between doing one thing that is against your core principles and another thing that is for your core principles, and yet you will ignore the core principle that was violated because of the core principle that was accepted. This is the 3D chess he is playing against you. because you want to live in the world reactionarily, not proactivarily. You have a hard time expressing yourself to other people and expressing yourself about the world to other people too. In ways that would be beneficial and ways that would be just existentially altruistic. But in truth, you have to work on you. And then instead of you being inspired by complete strangers that may be fucking you over for a greater good in their own delusion, that you assume that the only thing you can control is yourself, and that self-control can then project into your world, and now you've got control of your world, and you didn't even have to control a thing because you built a stronger relationship with it instead of chasing the shadows on Plato's cave. Right. Very interesting people get thrown to this channel doing what I do. It's fascinating, right? It's very fascinating how I've experienced these kinds of new attention shifts since I've broken ties with other sorts of people. I don't know how long to expect this kind of attention seen in my chat group, instead of people that kind of come into knowing the substance. Perhaps people that will be catching my my Heidegger videos, and then when I do other live streams, they show up and they've got they're a more philosophically minded person, perhaps more of a true seeker, right? We're going through a very strange time, and it's going to take all sorts of different voices, inspiring people on different levels, and we still need to have important voices out there for those that want to be hardcore about this shit, right? Instead of just trying to find out what's my purpose, right? And the greater fucking tragedy of the world to be fought against, and the greater hopes for the world that are to be fought for, they get lost on you, and it's left up to us who have began to draw in the context on the human level and connecting that to the historical level, and the level of the mystery as you can see it unfolding in real time in front of you, and your relationship with it when you start crossing the threshold into being more of a magus, someone at least practicing, so on and so forth. But anyway, you gotta let this thing go. It's the most important thing to know is that none of that shit that you see happening is for your interest. None of it. The man that who is not in there right now, trust me. Doesn't matter what man you put in that seat is corrupt. It's a it's not. It's I hate that Game of Thrones, the TV show, ended so shitty, but your dragon can burn down that fucking throne, right? We don't need that goddamn fucking place. It's all built on a fucking swamp. You can't drain something of itself. That's like trying to empty a well, right? The oil wells refill themselves. The water wells refill themselves. You can blight the land, and that will drain it, but it'll also devoid it of all life. All right. I'm going to go for a swim. I'll catch you guys later.